Alright, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Forge Alliance Forever cast with your host, Miso Yag, SS Yag reporting for duty. This is a little bit of a map on Stella Maris that I accidentally forgot to record before, and was requested for it specifically, so I'm gonna cast it, because this guy watches a lot of my videos, so, I mean, like the relative ratio of, we're getting more watch out of this one than we are out of some other random cast. All you dumbass idiots who fucking sent me. But we'll get to them when we get to them. Over here, going first Cybern, we have Avenger with a land factory heading off the bat. We got NoobAlot. Freaking, this is a Mexican guy that moved to Australia or something. I don't know what the story is with him, but he's very complicated. So this is either a drunken British guy who's pretending to be German, or he's an actual German guy with a very strange accent. We got Yenin going UEF, first land. We've got Mr. Slick, don't mess with fucking royalty, Slick over here, going royal purple, rocking that Fydro, not even bothered with the P-Gens, he knows what's up. Over here we've got Mr. Teleris, though. Very skilled player, don't fuck with him. We got Colby, 99. You guys might have seen him before, going to Cybern first land. We also got Cybern for Teleris, so we're going to have a lot of Cybern over here on this side. Slick going Master Race. We got this fucking noob over here, all fucking capital letters. Look at him, look at him, look at how stupid he is. Like, what's the thing? He's like swiveling his commander back and forth, like trying to like maximize the time spent turning the friggin' torso around while building, just trying to be as inefficient as possible. Going first land, second air after a few P-Gens. Look at that walk. He could have just walked right up here in between the middle, but he's gonna walk all the way over here. As he just tries to piss me off, just always being such a fucking noob. And over here we have Mr. Kai going first land, second land. I think we're gonna see, we're gonna see Zooies out of here. That's what we're gonna see. They still got engineers, but with this much land factory, no. What about this guy? Yeah, we got Zooies coming out of there. So early off the gate, nothing special going on. We're gonna kick this up to +2 because people, I guess, have been skipping the early parts of the videos because they don't want to watch the build up on the eco. And I get it. Maybe that's why the other casters are doing that sort of thing. We got this fucking guy, still doesn't have his air factory up. Yenin. Well, Yenin is a little bit of a different kind of player. He's not going for an air factory. He's going to bring his ACU over here, and I think he's going to put himself into the water right quick. Mr. Slick getting that air factory up. Mr. NoobAlot already with an interceptor, just chillaxing out cool and shooting some b-ball. Wouldn't be surprised if that interceptor would sit right here, wait for an early bomber. We got scouts from fucking Mr. Noob Sauce over here. No bombers. So like, I'm gonna rush air, and what I'm gonna do is get some motherfucking scouts out. But at least he freaking can see what's going on over here. Yeah, Mr. Noob Sauce gets a nice scout over these commanders, and Teleris gets a nice scout over Slick. We have Mr. Kai pinging somebody's pinging something. We got one scout over here. We don't see the bomber yet. Fucking Noob Sauce dispatches his scouts to try to take care of that scout, but this interceptor might be able to do something about it if it wasn't for Kai saving the day yet again. We got an early bomber, though, from Noob Sauce, headed out over here. What's it gonna do? Not much anything. He's gonna fly around in circles. He's just terrorizing the local engineering populace. Manages to get a sweet-ass hit on that mass pump. Is he gonna get back around for another one? Maybe he'll hit something with the air crash. No, that first bomber killed absolutely nothing. And that's how you know you're a winner, when your bombers don't do anything. We've got Zooies headed in over here, grabbing this naval factory, headed up to T2. He needs to focus this naval factory down and get that shit dead. He wants to get this one that's getting this frigate, and I do understand that. We got drops Colby getting into the water faster than Teleris. We've got Yenins in the water already, moving forward slowly. We have Zooies. There's a frigate here. I'd love to see this go down. Taking down this would have been great. Because he can't tell if that one's going to T2. I mean, if you looked at it real closely, you could have told. But it would have been really great to be able to get that down. We got Mr. NoobAlot, the Australian Mexican sensation, rocking the freaking air right now. Just taking out those Zooies because he's like, fuck you, Zooies. Mr. NoobAlot coming in here. trying to take down some of this air. We'll see whether or not he's able to do that. Can he even see the? Oh, he can. He can. There must be allied radar coverage in there somewhere, keeping track of all that stuff for him. we have a frigate over here from Mr. Yenins. Mr. Yenins is plural because he's more than one person at the same time. That's how he gets so much skill in one player. We do have Mr. Slick rocking the Zooies, the counter Zooey explosion over here, taking down all of these naval factories from Mr. Colby. Yeah, but we do have the Jester from Mr. Talaris here to save the day. He's like, don't worry, Colby, it's okay that you're a noob. I got your back. Getting that Jester to clear those things out so that they can get themselves back into the water here. But the problem is, yeah, even though he's got subs up near close, there's enough naval factories to put out enough subs to stop that play. What I would have really liked to see was that go down. But as these frigates start to come out here, they're going to start to just deal with the Zooey stream. The Zooey stream's not really going to be able to do anything. We have bombers coming out from Noob Sauce. Noob Sauce assembling the bombers, fighting Yenin's frigates. Brave bombers, heroic. I mean, just because their commander sucks, it does not mean that these units do not know what they're doing, shooting their missiles into the infidel. Moving forward, we do have a few interceptors running around like crazy people. Maybe they're here to take out these bombers. Maybe they're just here for vacation. Single as assessment planes, doing a little bit of scouting. Takes down some of those interceptors. Obviously, it's not all bad here. Getting some advice from the allies. Taking stuff down. I'd like to see these bombers do a little bit more work. There are quite a few bombers here from Noob Sauce over here. He needs to grab these mexes. I don't know what the fuck he's doing over here. He needs to get a presence on some of these islands, perhaps. We do have a Jester here from Colby as well, so we got Jesters on the field everywhere. We got drops. They're back in the water. Slick unable to push them out with that early Zooey harass. Mr. Yenins not making a strong play for the air, but he is in the water, or he was in the water, until Noob Sauce bombed him. Where did all Noob Sauce bombers just go? Noob Sauce got a lot of bombers. Check out all those bombers. We got 7 bombers from Noob Sauce. Heading in NoobAlot. We got Kai's units here mixed up with these frigates. All up in them, behind them. The problem is, with only one dude in the Navy here, I mean, it's rough. It's interesting because in both instances, the dude with the one naval guy is actually outperforming the dudes with the 2 naval guys. So, how interesting to see. Mr. Sleep-A-Lot going heavy on the air. You know, Mexicans not really known for their air power, so we'll see how he's able to pull out here. I mean, it's more of a sneaky ground. I would think he would be going Cybran and trying to sneak across the border into these guys' lands and maybe take advantage of their highly developed mexes, something like that. I don't know. We'll see what he does as he goes out. Providing a little bit of an air escort for these subs in this frigate. There's no torp bombers on the field as of yet. We don't have T2 air from any of these players on the Cell team. Nor do we have T2 for any of these players on the North team. But NoobAlot is marshalling the bombers, so he is going to see if he can't do something here. Perhaps. What is he going to do? I don't know. I think I remember what he did, but I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off in the replay. Sometimes some things just don't translate well into recording. That is quite a bit of bombers. So NoobAlot definitely sacrificing late air game play to develop his T1 Air Force. He just is going to be like, well, fuck it. I'm going to make some frickin' bombers. We do have bombers coming in. We got air superiority, perhaps, for NoobAlot. We got Sleep-A-Lot versus NoobAlot in the air. And y'all know, just because you're a noob, I mean, at least you got air micro. Fucking the other guys are not even awake. He's just sleeping on the job. We got Salem's going in. We got bombers heading in on that Salem. He only needs one more bomb to take that out. And the bombs are away. And that is going to go down. And the air was destroyed. Sleep-A-Lot asleep at the wheel. His air control not really up to snuff. We have bombers headed away, taking out the power. See, maybe he'll be able to take out this power. We do have frigates, though. We got the air. We got the Navy from Mr. Kai. We got Slick headed over here with some drops. These Zooies could be very dangerous, but it looks like he's going to drop them short. Looks like he's going to drop them over here. Whether or not they're going to be able to deal with that is another question. There are a lot of Jesters on the field, and definitely the capability to make more if necessary. Slick pouring a lot of resources into this T2 Navy. I'd like to see some of those come onto the field. A little bit of destroyer action wouldn't hurt here. There's not a lot of strong T1 Navy from this side, so the introduction of those longer range units could definitely prove decisive here. We have a lot of those bombers taking out that T1 power, losing all those bombers, but still maintaining air control. Sleep-A-Lot a little bit farther behind. grabbing that T2 air, so he is probably going to be able to do something about that. Getting up that flak, interestingly enough, so he's going to be denying any further T1 bomber incursions over this area without paying a heavy price to lead in up to that. Getting those Oblivion point defense turrets up was going to be really nice for them. It's going to allow them the safe space to grab those naval factories and establish himself in the water. Over here, we do have Slick pushing out the T2s, getting those destroyers into play. Whether or not he's going to have enough to... These guys got the islands. They got more eco. Slick does have the back island, though, as opposed to Mr. Yennin. So perhaps why Mr. Yennin is playing a little bit of a backseat right now. Getting that teaching power up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a RAS out of Mr. Yennin soon. Sitting at 1.2k power. He's definitely got what it takes to do RAS. Does he have the mass is the question. He does have half of it. NoobAlot's sitting at about a quarter of it, so it's definitely a possibility that he could go RAS. Kai Draken with the destroyer, going to be able to outrange these Oblivion turrets with that T2 destroyer action. Definitely taking out that Navy production is definitely going to be really strong. If you can get these Zuis up in here on this lip will defend them from most types of PD fire, and I do believe he does engage in such nefarious behavior. Taking down that, moving himself in, destroyer, pushing this ACU back, as these units don't realize yet the magnitude of this terrain here, but they will get there, and they will know. Sorry, spoiler, I've never seen this game before. I was in it. Alright, well, we got Slick leading the scoreboard. The reclaim situation is not really going to be that impressive. 6 at 3k. Mr. NoobAlot sitting at about 500. 1,600 for Mr. Kai Drake and about 1,700. Yennin's sitting at about 1,300. More than double NoobAlot. We've got Talaris sitting at almost 4k. Colby sitting around almost 19k. About par with Mr. What's his face? Kai. We've got NoobAlot sitting low bar. Not as low as NoobAlot, but I mean, you know, whatever. You know, he's sleeping through it. We've got a little bit of overthrow here from Avenger, but he has lost a lot of build power and a lot of energy, looking like he's doing a little bit of a mass bonus for his team. Sitting at about 1,900 reclaim. Moving in here, we've got some frigates for NoobAlot, making a bold entrance into the naval scene here with T1 at 13 minutes. Just bringing in those, because you know those Aeon frigates, just they're known for being really good, is what I've heard. We do have a lot of T1 air here for NoobAlot. NoobAlot not able to make a strong conversion into that T2 air, still building interceptors from his T2 land air factory. And with the presence of all of this Navy on his shoreline, he's unable to push that weaker, slower moving Navy out of this position. With a cruiser in the field for Slick, the days of the Jester are over. But the cruiser not going to be able to make a strong showing versus these frigates. Not really going to be able to target things that move with differing targeting trajectories, blah, blah, blah. We do have torps coming on the field for NoobAlot. We'll see whether or not NoobAlot is able to respond to this. Looks like he has after a while. But whether or not he's going to be able to take that down, probably not going to take it down before that first pass, but I wouldn't be surprised if the second pass this guy goes down. But there is some anti-air flak artillery in the back, so he's going to really pay for this move here. Definitely getting those conservators in. If we engage in a heavy air fight over here, I wouldn't be surprised if NoobAlot lost air heavily. We do have Navy. Looks pretty... not bad. Not good for Slick. It's not going good for Slick. NoobAlot does pull back his air, but he does leave a few interceptors on the ground. Not too bad, not too bad. Mr. Yennin's not making a strong play for the air and not making a very strong play for the Navy either. We do have Ravagers on the field. Definitely going to be trouble for anybody who tries to mess with him. Yeah, taking out over half of that cruiser's HP in a single volley. Definitely don't want to mess with that stuff. And you can't really outrage him with the T2 destroyers either, which is definitely done. NoobAlot going for an early RAS, topping the power boards. Perhaps he's going to be able to segue this into RAS for his whole team and T3 air. We will see. Definitely taking the lion's share of the mexes here in the center, denying the rest of his team of the economy they need to pwn, but somehow they're able to do it regardless. see whether or not he's able to leverage this into anything, or if he's just going to soak up resources the whole game like he normally does. We do have artillery destroying the main base of Sleep-A-Lot. Mexican is going to have to emigrate to fairer pastures. We'll see what his plans are for the future. Avenger definitely getting pushed out of his base here. Vengeance may not be his this game. We do have all of these shots going into the hills. As these ACUs get to the cleft of the hill, they will be able to shoot down onto those, but they're going to be really punished for exposing themselves into that position. Destroyer strong into the side here. Frigates showing up late for the party, not really going to be able to do much of anything here. Perhaps maybe just screen against these frigates from the Yenin. Nice. You see the fake radar signatures. That's that T1 UEF frigate showing its skills here. Slick on the back burner. Talaris and Colby definitely pushing hard on this side. Not really giving him a lot of room. It's looking like Slick starting to develop himself as a T2 presence, building up a higher density of destroyers. But we do have some Salems for Talaris. Definitely a strong, vibrant T2 Navy at this point, looking at about 3 destroyers to about the same, but significant sub and frigate numbers for Slick. Whether or not that will be able to turn the tide, whether or not Kai's advantage in the water will swiftly transition over to this run and allow the southern team to take out Slick's Navy once and for all. Because if he can just maintain this position here, he will be in good shape. Looks like those Ravagers a little bit of trouble, and we do have T2 Artie from Yenin. Let's check the range on that bad boy. Yeah, definitely able to take out NoobAlot's mechs here, and definitely raining fire onto any Navy that parks itself in this area. Not accurate or fast shooting enough, nor projectile speed fast enough to really target units that do a little bit of a zigzag to come in through here. But Slick definitely using those laser weapons to their best, dodging a lot of those shots from the Salems, laying down heavy laser fire. What I would like to see is these guys dip below the water, use that superior sub damage to take out these frigates, while these destroyers sit at range, unable to use their torpedo weapons to engage the superior forces of the Seraphim, and then servicing, once those are gone, sending the subs in to screen for them. I could definitely see that working for Slick, but right now Talaris looking a little bit on the back foot, having lost definitely more in that fight than Slick did, but Kai with a strong naval presence, it's really only a matter of time before he breaks through this position from Yenin. That double Artie, very strong, taking out some of NoobAlot's forces here. That frigate, 1 shot, 1 kill. But we do have cruisers laying waste to the power of Sleep-A-Lot. Whether or not he will be able to perhaps apply for asylum over here, maybe he can get himself some welfare subsidies or something. We can see the EBT coming into play here. Definitely not necessary, I believe. No, not necessarily. He doesn't need EBT for power, but perhaps he can apply for a mass welfare from the rest of the team. We'll see if he's able to move that forward. But Sleep-A-Lot definitely looking bad here as he starts to take fire from those cruisers, getting up that strong Aeon point defense, but he is going to lose some of these power generators. Sitting on RAS so he's going to have still positive power, even with the lack of those power generators, which, in all honesty, usually are reclaimed, but perhaps he's using them to help enable his team to complete their RAS in a timely manner. We do have Slick moving large groups of engineers over here, grabbing the foliage of the Yenin, who is doing a little bit of an ecological preservation approach over here to his forests, not reclaiming him like the rest also. NoobAlot not really reclaiming his forest. Mr. Kai reclaiming, these guys reclaiming as well. But we do see a large amount of interceptors over here, but at the 20-minute mark, you're really expecting to start to see ASF coming in. You only need like 5 or 6, and they'll come in and they'll clean all of that, because each single shot from an ASF will take out an interceptor. So they go down fast. And they're very fast moving, so they do tend to dodge a lot of shots, and they have way more HP. So we do have the Salems with a superior range laying fire Mr. Kai's destroyers coming in to try to overbalance the situation here, and it's looking like Mr. Slick just does not have enough Navy here to really do what he needs to do. He's not going to be able to hold the line, and once this Navy pushes in here, it's really only a matter of time with the shelling, and even with the presence of NoobAlot on their team, there's not going to be really much that can hold these guys back at this point. Slowly, let's kick it up to +1 as we start to become a little bit more one-sided here in this match. We do have a drop, getting that T2 transport up here from Mr. Kai. These Zuis laying down the fire, none of that hitting their target, but this mech's going down quick. Those stationary targets are obviously unable to dodge that heavy concentration of damage from those artillery. We do still have this over here. We have Mr. Kai taking heavy Ravager fire as he crosses the strait, does not submerge his units, has not figured out that there is not very much naval defense up in here. A little bit of a stronghold here from Mr. Yenens, got the naval factory, allowing Mr. Sleepalot to try to re-establish himself in the water here under the protection of that Ravager and this artillery. Radar coverage present for Mr. Yenen, whether or not how far and how deep they're able to see pretty deep. And for the other side, how are they looking at radar coverage? Not very well. We got some naval radar here on these surface units, as well as some of that over here. This is a T2 radar from Mr. Colby, Mr. Tolaris. Yeah, definitely that's what's going on here. But there's not really deep radar. But once these Salems get in here, they do have the ability to radar ID, or not radar ID, but radar blip, at least the rest of these targets, allowing for shelling of the coast. We do have some destroyers, UEF destroyers coming out from the Yenens, but they're not going to be very good against this large amount of superior range destroyers from both of these Cybern players. Mr. NoobAlot sending out a little bit of a torpedo bomber. I don't know what he's trying to attack, but you never really know what a guy like that's going to do. We do have this destroyer coming off the line for Slick, but he's alone and outnumbered, and it's not going to be a good day for him. These units coming in here. Yeah, well, they weren't up against Kai, so we do have interceptors here, losing some of those teaching mexes for Slick. It's looking rough for him. It's looked like he's about to get pushed out of the water. Let's kick it up to +4. I think this is basically over. Yeah, he wasn't going to himself the Meekin. It's only a matter of time before Yenen is forced to break. We do have artillery. Mr. NoobAlot continually trying to rebuild this max, even though it just keeps getting destroyed. Sitting at the top of the eco position, though, NoobAlot definitely building a lot of eco. Whether or not he's going to use it for anything good, we do have T3 Navy from NoobAlot. Is that a missile ship coming off the line? We're going to be seeing, missile ships, long range. Definitely going to be doing some shelling here. Going to be able to take out those Ravagers and those artillery positions. So he may not be good for much, but he ain't good for nothing. We do have large amounts of cruise missiles headed in here against that T3 air factory from Mr. Yenda. Not enough TMD in the position, so he's going to lose that. Avenger in the water. There's going to be Avenger in the water. Cyber, he's got to have. Yeah, he's got Torp. Sending out those missiles, taking out large amounts of that Navy. Whether or not he's going to be able to push these guys onto the Navy is probably not really going to happen. Avenger does go down to what? Probably it looked like he had a reactor malfunction there. You do have Salems up on the water. Dangerous units. You know you lost Navy when you've got Salems in your base. We do have air coming out. We have another Sleepalot going down. I think he was in a transport taken down by ASFs from the Yog. Mr. NoobAlot, I do remember what happened. We do have a shocker because he is dirty like that. He's going to try to go after Mr. Gannon and see who's able to take down this guy at the end. We do have missile ships on board laying down heavy amounts of fire. We have some T3 on both sides, so there's definitely air play going down. Battleship laying down fire, taking down those shields. Mr. Yenin control case, denying the satisfaction. The Yenins. But the Yenins are gone. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And sorry I didn't record this the first time, but here you go. Thanks for watching.